Live from the Motor City, all the way to the Volunteer State. It's time for the Reckless Speculation Podcast, where we recklessly speculate the latest news in the world of sports. From college football to NASCAR, we've got you covered. And don't forget to stick around for the world-famous Bet Your Nuts, where we will give you your best bets to make the most money. Now sit back, grab your favorite drink of choice, and join Robbie Davis, Raj Mehta, Brandon Chain, and Tom Sloan. It's showtime.
Welcome, everyone, to Reckless Speculation. It is March the 27th. We have made it past the first week of March Madness. When I say we, I specifically mean my Tennessee Volunteers. Beat the brains out of St. Peter's and won a struggle bus fight against Texas. So we're on to Creighton on a Friday night / Saturday morning, which we'll get into a little bit later. But guys, I survived the week and happy to be that the Vols are still dancing. Obviously, you guys your teams don't play college basketball, but welcome anyways. Thanks for joining us. Brandon, how's your day going?
Going good. Been a little hectic. Solo parent, had to take the dog in today to get groomed for the first time. She's 5 months, so trying to hold her in the store from attacking everyone to the lick of the death was quite the challenge. But it's fun.
Yes. And as you guys know, I've been dealing with a dog parent myself, torn ACL surgery, and so it's been something. Tom, how are you?
What's up, fellas? No, my team is not playing in this tournament. Hopefully next year with their new head coach.
Yeah, I was going to say real quickly, what do you think? Well, or not what you think. I know, I'm sure what you think. That's a great hire to me. What's the vibe around Ann Arbor? What are they feeling?
It's mixed. It really is kind of mixed emotions. But I think the ones who really know the type of coach he is and his background, he's a Michigan guy. He's lifelong Michigan fan, and so it isn't a sexy name, we'll say, coming from Florida Atlantic, but they did go to the Final Four last year. So I think he's exactly what
the hell of a hire.
I think it's exactly what the program needs. The reputation was kind of stained from Juwan Howard, so I think they're going to be in the mix of things in the next couple of years. Well, so it'll be good.
I thought they got him for pretty cheap. Also,
I mean, what was it, a 4-year contract that he signed?
I think 4 or 5 for $3.5 million.
Yeah, and I mean, I wanted the coach from San Diego State, but he's a little Brian Butcher or Ducher. He's a little older, but so I think they're going young and they're going for a different type of player. So I think they're going to be okay.
And we're going to dig into both the recap of our tournament picks for the first weekend. We're going to preview the second weekend. But before we get into that, there's just a weird story that has developed in Major League Baseball. And it could be just really one of the ultimate just wow stories in sports that I can remember, depending on which way it breaks. But obviously I'm talking about Shohei Ohtani. I'll give you the nuts and bolts of it, of what I have read and heard, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, add in any stories. Apparently, though, this is what I've heard. His allegedly best friend, translator, with him almost all the time, definitely throughout the season, anytime he is in any kind of press situation, which, as we know, a star of this magnitude nearly all the time, apparently, allegedly had a gambling problem and ran up debts of $4.5 million, give or take. And somehow he took. I'm using air quotes for people who listen to us on the podcast. Took $500,000 at a time from Otani's bank account for a total of $4.5 million. Otani released a statement yesterday, I think it was, or 2 days ago, saying he had nothing to do with it. He's never gambled. Essentially, his best friend stole money from his account, and he had nothing to do with it. Either of y'all, is that kind of accurate, or anything to add or just dispute about what I said?
Yeah,
not the factual elements of it, just what we know right now.
Right. Yeah, he basically came out with a statement, wasn't taking questions. He was sitting next to his new translator, which I thought was really funny, being that the story was about his old translator. And another thing about this translator, he claimed to have worked for the Boston Red Sox, and there's no record of him working with the Red Sox. So this guy might have been a little sneaky to begin with, before this whole situation came out.
Brandon, what do you make of this? I mean, it just off of the surface, just what was your first thought? What do you make of it?
The first thought was Otani definitely knew what's going on the whole time. I mean, you don't, even if you have people that have access to your bank account, whether it be your business or whatever, you still keep a pretty close eye on that. And I know larger transactions coming in and out with him, but still, when you're missing $500,000, I know when I'm missing $5,000, right? So in that magnitude, like
$5 for me,
or yeah, exactly. So I'm anxious to see how this plays out, and if there's going to be criminal charges brought against him, and see then that's going to be the truth. Like if Otani fully presses him with criminal charges and tries to get in for that, then we'll know. Okay, maybe he didn't have anything to do with it, but I don't foresee that.
So this reminded me of some just a little backstory. I was recommended to read. It's not all about the bike, or it's not about the bike, or whatever Lance Armstrong's book was. Read it, and then I was like, holy hell, he knows a lot about blood testing and how it works. And then I heard him talk, and then I heard them talk about how they blood test in the Tour de France, and I was like, oh yeah, he knows how to beat the system. I was like, he knows what's happening. And this just reminded me that, well, one, Tom, I'm with you. If you're going to prepare if you're going to read a written statement, you don't need a translator. Just put it up in English. Like you don't need to read it one language verbatim, then have someone write it. Right. So that was weird. And I'm with Brandon. Look, I've never had $500 million, but $700 million. I never had. I check my Acorns account every day. And I just do.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, you look at your business account, like accountants have access to all those funds and stuff. I mean, you're keeping an eye on that stuff. You're checking balance on everything. So.
Well, and the bank that's hosting that money.
Well,
I don't know how many accounts he has, but let's say he has 20, with each with $500,000 in it. Hey, I guess you get $500,000. Let's say that he has 20 with $1 million in it. 500,000 goes out. That bank's going to be like
multiple times.
Hold on. Why is this going out, and who's it going to?
Yeah, there's all kinds of red flags when you make a withdrawal that much.
Yeah.
Well, and what about, we know that these celebrities, these athletes, they don't handle their own finances. They always have a financier that's taking care of them. So my question is this: wouldn't whoever's handling his business dealings approach him and said, "Hey, are you making multiple withdrawals of $500,000 at a time. Like you've got like, let's see, 5 or 6 $500,000 withdrawals. Like, is that, are you doing that? So to me, it seems very suspicious. And the fact of the matter is, when it first broke, he kind of played it off like it was no big deal. But then when he got let go from the Dodgers, the tune changed. So Ohtani camp has changed their story, number one. And number two, while they were in Korea, the news broke. They knew about it. Ohtani knew about it. And there's a clip of him in the dugout, walks right up to the interpreter and like taps him on the shoulder, and they're chit-chatting, they're laughing, ha. At that moment in time, Ohtani knew what was going on. And then after the game, he was released. So it's just, I hate to say it, but I feel like this is a situation where we might be looking at potentially one of the greatest players of all time got his hands caught in the cookie jar, and now they're trying to backpedal out of it. And I don't know how it's going to play out. I'm glad Major League Baseball is investigating it, and I hope they investigate it to the full extent instead of looking at the situation. Oh, I'm going to take his word for it, because there's a lot of smoke here. And you guys all know, especially you, Robbie, in the law industry, when there's smoke, there's definitely a lot of fire.
And Tom, that's a great segue. This is Rob Manfred's worst nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
Because how many questions do you ask? How many investigators do you put on this? Because the Dodgers have what was $700 million vested interest in this case. MLB has a $2 to $3, $4, $5 billion
the Japanese fan base.
Yes, and we're gonna get to how it. And I don't want to cut off my question with a point, but I do want to think about, when we think about MLB here, what we're about to talk about. The NBA is about to suffer. So the MLB needs to think globally as all these industries leave. So Brandon, I'm asking you this question. How deep does Rob Manfred dig, or is this a close this file as quick as you can?
Oh, that's tough. I think it's going to be the latter. I think it's close it as fast as you can. It feels like that this translator is just the fall guy, and they can work around it that way. They do not want a lot of exposure here, because then it brings up the whole Pete Rose thing. And then,
Did you see his quote?
Oh yeah.
No, I missed that. What did he say?
He said, "I wish I would have had a translator back in the 70s and 80s."
That is epic.
That's what I'm saying. It's great.
Oh man!
But Ohtani is almost a Hall of Famer immediately right now, and the whole Dodger market, this whole big sign, record sign, everything that's going down, new exposure to MLB. With a superstar like this, you're going to draw in some, casual fans a lot more to watch this guy play. And if you take that away, on one hand, okay, if the MLB investigates thoroughly and they really release the truth, that it looks like, okay, we're trying to protect players. This is the law. You can't break it, blah, blah, blah. But on the other hand, like you said, $5 billion potential deal, and money always outweighs the consequences there.
So this wasn't a question I had coming up, but it just somehow triggered seeing both of you guys on the screen. Is this? You remember back when Mark Cuban did his own investigation into basketballs and referees in the NBA, Ohio State, Michigan, y'all's drama this last year. Is it possible that, say, the Giants or the Padres or somebody takes this investigation out of Manfred's hand and says, we're hiring our own people and we're digging in?
I think media is going to keep this thing going.
Yeah.
And I think it really depends on one of two things here. Will the translator be convicted, or will there be charges put into place?
Exactly.
I think that is going to be the key factor.
Is he already back in Japan?
That I don't know. I'm not sure.
And so where did the bookie? Do we know where the bookie? Where did these transactions take place?
It was somewhere in California.
We got because gambling is illegal in California,
right?
So we do have an American crime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So is he going to be convicted? I think that's going to be
because Otani's going to. Well, there's gambling and there's theft.
That's what I'm saying. Does Otani? Do they push that to the full limit?
I think you're going to look at a situation here with, is this guy willing to be the fall guy if he's looking at serious jail time, or is he going to come out and say, "Oh no, I'm not taking the heat"? Yeah. So I really think that
I guess 20 to 30 years in jail.
I would think if he is the fall guy and he knows he's the fall guy, there's going to be a pretty sweet package set up for him as far as, he'll probably skip jail time or do very little.
He's going to be down with P. Diddy.
Exactly. He'll be riding shotgun in P. Diddy's.
Yeah.
If they can get him back from Antigua, he took off.
Yeah.
No, but I think they need to pay attention to his finances.
Also, if you guys haven't researched where Diddy's at, you better Google that. You never know.
There's a plane tracker on him.
Yeah. They tracked him to Antigua. He got on a plane right after they raided his house. So that's crazy.
All right. So before we take too much time on this, predictions. What happens? Let's just start this season. Tom, any suspension?
I don't think so. I don't think we're going to see anything until I think this thing is going to get drawn out for at least a year. I think it just gets kind of swept under the rug or while investigation's going on. I don't think MLB is going to let anything happen right now.
I agree. I think, and by doing so, there could be other stories that pop up that get overtaken in the media, and this kind of gets forgotten about somewhat. I don't think Otani's going anywhere. I really think with the amount of money on the line for both the Dodgers and the MLB that they will fix this properly and have their fall guy.
I think they go New England and Spygate. Mm-hmm. I think they do a predetermined, whether it's 180 game penalty for the perception of cheating or perception of impropriety, close the gate, destroy all the evidence. Let's move on.
Yeah.
80 games, sit out.
I could see something like that too.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I think the Dodgers need to be invested,
and they let journalists keep getting into it. It's going to get really, really bad.
And that's the thing, because then you got to investigate the Dodgers and find out how much they knew about it prior to him signing that contract. So, it's going to be drawn out for a while, but for the meantime, I think Otani's safe for now.
All right, so moving on to our next topic, the big bad bully in the room, in every room they enter. The NFL announced today their preliminary schedule. What is of note, though, is for the last 2 years or 2 or 3 years, we've had Christmas fall on a Saturday, Sunday, and or Monday, which has been a NFL game, so that the NBA has, suffered. Right, I think they were down 30%. the first year, 6% the second year, or may have vice versa. But anyways, the NBA is getting killed by the NFL taking off their official opening of the day. Well, this year it's been announced the NFL is still taking over Christmas, but Christmas is on Wednesday this year, guys. Not only is this NFL's worst nightmare, but is this conditioning Wednesday night football? Brandon?
I mean, that's not out of the realm of possibility with the NFL. You know, they'll grab more power money wherever they can. But I think, you know, with this whole thing last year with the streaming, you know, the one game streaming that you had to, you know, purchase, I forget what it was it Peacock or whatever for the one game. You're starting to see these kind of spinoffs to where NFL's making side deals according to things like this. Wednesday, taking it away again, NBA time. You know, conditioning for Wednesday. I mean, it's very, very possible. Who knows what their, you know, future forecast looks like? But the more they can spread it out over the entire week, where that's all you're talking about is NFL. I mean, I wouldn't be upset if there's a game every night. I'd be pretty excited about it, actually. But then it takes away, like, if you do go to a bar and you want to sit there, you know, have lunch, sit there for a couple hours and seeing all the different games going on at the same time, there's something to that, too, watching all this. So.
Well, in a follow-up, if you're the NBA, this was your day. What do? You move it to Christmas Eve? Do you just
you completely open the gate, let the NFL do what they want to? If you want your ratings up, you coordinate around them. Absolutely.
That's what I've always said too. Like you're
look, bow down to the king. Just I mean, that's what you got to do. Like if you want to continue to get ratings.
Brandon made a good point about these streaming services, and everyone complains about them, but then everyone watches. Like we all are the frog in the pot.
And
the water's getting turned up a little. Like that's what we are, right? Like they have us all captive, don't they?
Oh, sure. I mean, look at the state of the NFL draft now compared to like 15, 20 years ago. You know, it used to be a two-day thing. It'd start on Saturday, the draft finish on Sunday. Now it's a spectacle. You get these cities that you know, they fight to get the draft. Ironically enough, it's in Detroit this year, and the city is just fired up and embracing the draft. So clearly the NFL knows whatever they throw, the viewer is going to go after. And this whole Wednesday playing two games on Christmas Day just shows it's kind of like the NFL just sticking it in the NBA's face, say, yep, bet. We're going to outrate you, and there's nothing you can do about it. But for me, I think you look at a Wednesday matchup, I'm not in favor of it. Number one, you would have to have two teams that are coming off a bye, because there's no way you can physically be prepared to play on Wednesday if you played on Sunday. And number two, they have to be.
But Tom, that's what they said about Thursday football when it started.
Yeah,
and then it didn't matter. Eventually it doesn't matter.
But take Thursday night football the last 2 years. The matchups have been really bad. So,
but the ratings are like that.
That's what you don't want.
They don't care. They just
you don't want to oversaturate things. And I think you're going to come into a situation where they might be getting a little ahead of themselves when it comes to that. I give them the Thursday because you can prepare. I don't think teams are fully prepared, but they can prepare for Thursday night games. But if you throw them on Wednesday, I just feel like the product is going to suffer, and nobody wants to watch a 6-3 game or a 12-7 game. And I think that's what you're going to run into if you start doing games earlier in the week. Plus, you're going to mess with the Maction on ESPN. You know, you got to give a big shout out to Toledo and Akron and Bowling Green, and Eastern and Western Michigan.
So here's what I find interesting. And if any of y'all want to comment, jump in. The NFL is just, you can say slowly, strongly, however you want to describe it, just taking over everything with these streaming services, whether it's Amazon, Peacock, blah, blah. Well, in the NBA on Christmas, you know who hosts the NBA on Christmas? ABC, ESPN. You know who doesn't get to host Peacock, Amazon, ESPN, ABC? Who's the biggest promoter of the NFL? ESPN. Are we leading to an entire breakup of just the NFL network and its enterprises from ESPN?
I don't think so at all. I think they need each other just as equally.
Too much money.
Yeah.
Each network is paying $6 billion.
Yeah, but
you just for Sports Center alone, like during the NFL season.
Could you see where ESPN and Fox break towards college, and the NFL goes more to an NFL Network pay-per-view streaming model?
I can see that happening if the YouTube deal kind of starts to fade away a little bit. My initial thought was when they came out with NFL Plus, that was going to be who was going to get the Sunday ticket. And I was a bit surprised when YouTube got it. So I think they're going to kind of keep their toes in the water and see where it goes. And if they start to kind of fade away a little bit, I think that's when they go in and do their own streaming service.
Okay, quick question, then we'll move on to basketball. Over under 2027, we have a Tuesday night NFL regular season game.
I'm sorry, I was reading that comment. Would you say it one more time?
Over under 2027, we have a scheduled Tuesday night NFL game.
I'd say under. I don't think it will happen.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think we will.
I don't think so either.
All right.
Tuesday night? No.
So I'll give you my reason why. Players want to get paid more. How they get paid more is to play longer. You expand the season, which what the NFL clearly wants to do. You start doing buys and you start doing things with the schedule. You can stretch this 18-game season into probably 27 weeks and play a game every night. And I just think it's on. I mean,
it could work for sure. I don't think it'll be that soon, though. I mean,
I'm just asking for one game, not every Tuesday, but there'll be one Tuesday game before 2027.
No,
I mean, there's a Wednesday game this year. What day's Christmas on next year? It's Tuesday. It's very possible.
Thursday.
All right.
So Tuesday.
So we all filled our brackets. Mine's terrible. How's y'all's looking?
Thumbs down to that one.
This is about as bad as I can remember my bracket being.
Yeah, mine's not looking great either. But you know,
well, Brandon, I guarantee you, Brandon is probably better than us, and he looked at it right before the show.
I did literally like before it was like 10:58, and I was driving down the road. I'm not promoting driving and texting or anything. It's by any means, but so don't do that. I was pulled over.
If Brandon rear ends you, call me.
That's right.
We'll have you all change property.
So yeah, I'm on the ESPN. I'm in the 67th percentile, so I don't know if that's good or bad, but Yeah, it's not great. Obviously, the big hitters, but the one that I did mean to pick, which I didn't, which I even said on our show that I picked, was Oregon on the first round. And I looked down. I was all excited. I looked down and I clicked whoever else they were playing. I was like, "Damn it!"
I'm
try and fill out a bracket.
I'm currently in the 48th percentile, so you're doing much better than I am.
Yeah, I've got 430 points. I don't know what your points are.
400.
Yeah, I've not done well either. So what was Tom? What was your takeaway from the first weekend?
I think the takeaway for me is it really wasn't what we expected. I think Friday coming in or Thursday, you thought that Friday was going to follow suit. There were nice upsets on Thursday. There was obviously the Golden Grizzlies of Oakland University taking out Kentucky was massive. And I thought that was the way this tournament was going to go. But Friday came and everything went pretty much as planned. So the teams that are supposed to be there, they're there. And, outside of, what would have been the Cinderella story with Jack Golke, it's pretty much par for the course. But there's been some great games, and no matter upsets or not, there's been some really, really tough games, and it's been a nice, fun tournament to watch. So, and I'm looking forward to this weekend.
Yeah. Brad, let me ask you this, because, I know you're not much of a college basketball fan, which leads me to, you're more of a pro basketball fan if you had one of the two. So pro basketball is more of the best team wins, where college basketball, it's not necessarily upsets, but that's what this tournament is designed to do, is to make chaos.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy this weekend better because more of the best teams won, or would you like to see in the chaos?
I like the chaos. I mean, that's the whole point of March Madness. That's what draws my interest. That's why I like NBA a little bit more, is just because you see some just outrageous plays on a random Tuesday night or Wednesday, whatever. So that's why I enjoy watching NBA. I mean, some of these guys are so good, they just go crazy. But the chaos of March Madness, that's what makes it so much fun to watch these games. And then when you fill out a bracket and you get, like the Oakland over Kentucky upset, that, like, to Tom's point, I guess the only other one would have been Colorado over Florida, which that went to overtime.
That was a great game.
That was a great game. But yeah, I mean, there was, a couple. There was another buzzer beater that went to overtime. Was it Texas
A&M?
Texas A&M
and Houston.
That was a good one. But there's, like Tom said, it's been pretty much chalk, really. I mean, nothing overly crazy. But I mean, there's been some good games, so I've enjoyed it. But do I enjoy the chaos a little more? Yes.
I think we were sitting at a bar in Nashville on Saturday, and Oakland and NC State was on, and everybody in there was fired up for Oakland. And when they had the ball with under 30 seconds to play, you could feel like those people were really pulling for Oakland. And the funny thing was, there was 3 guys on the other side of the bar that were NC State fans, and they were just like, no, this can't be happening. And once it went to overtime, it was a big bummer. But I think the general consensus is people love the underdogs, and they like, that's the madness.
Tom, tell them about your Yale Auburn story.
Oh, yes. So Friday, we're sitting at Losers down in Music Row, and we happened in, I think we were infiltrating a Auburn Tigers viewing party, because every single person in that bar was an Auburn fan. And so let's just say you're in Nashville, the buckets are flowing, right? And every time Yale would hit a 3, I would say to my wife, man, it's raining. It's really raining. And And I would turn to the side. I go, it's raining threes right now. And she's like, you're going to get us in trouble. But it was pretty funny. But the reality was it was raining. So, but it was fun. And as soon as that game was over, gone.
Yeah.
Like without,
Yeah,
I mean, I
everybody's
turned
out.
around and they were gone. So let's just say they were not happy.
Like UT fans in the SEC tournament. God,
Back to Chattanooga.
Unnecessary, but okay. But yeah, that's the thing about this tournament, right? Like, we being, as a fan, being a 10 seed, 11 seed, 7 seed, oh, you're like, I love chaos. But yeah, when you're expected to win, it's so nerve wracking. And like,
Sure.
hell, I paced around my house all weekend long. And then I'll tell you what, your damn prices in Detroit, Tom, are not cheap at all.
Well, thanks to you guys and Purdue and Gonzaga.
Yeah,
Those are three huge.
So I may fly up Sunday morning, but I can't afford the whole weekend there. So I'll keep you in the loop. But we're going. So obviously the most impressive team, but no, the casino's going to pay for it. I mean, I just win it back.
I will quote somebody real quick. $350 a night to stay at the hotel at MGM, and he goes, "Oh, that's just what I need to know how much I need to make up at the casino to pay for it."
Yeah, it's just math.
If you lose enough, they'll upgrade you to a suite.
You keep talking, Mr. Scrap Metal.
Hey, I'm not MGM's accountant. If they want to lose that much money, they can lose that much money. They can make it $1,000 a night for all I care. But all right. So at this stage, UConn has looked the best so far. If you had to bet right now, are you taking UConn or the field, Tom?
Seeing that my bet says the field, I'm going to go the field. They definitely were the dominant team of weekend number one. So you have to think that they're obviously the favorite coming in, but things change. A lot happens. And when you have more of the blue blood programs that are still involved, I think that changes little things. So I think I'm going to take the field here. Take the
field. Brandon, we're going to get into specific brackets, but just overall, UConn or the field?
The field.
All right. I like it. So let's get into the brackets. As soon as I can pull them up.
Where do you want to go first? Which one?
Just we can do East.
The East.
All right, so this is a tough one. So you got 1, 2, 3, 5. For people that are watching, can obviously count. James probably can't count, but some other people can.
James hasn't checked in, and real quick, want to thank Randall for chiming in. I hope he's feeling better. I know he had a little spill, separated his shoulders, so we're thinking about you, buddy. Hope you're feeling better, and looking forward to getting on and doing a draft special with you here in the coming weeks.
Yes.
Feel better, buddy.
All right, so we got UConn versus SDSU, 2 teams in the Final Four last year. Illinois, Iowa State. Illinois has one of the hottest players in the country. Iowa State won the best conference in the country, I think. This is a powerhouse. We talked about this in the beginning. It's a powerhouse region. I don't know who wants to go first in this one. This is a tough prediction, but I'll go Brandon.
I'm going UConn. I've got them in my Final Four, so they have to win this one. And I'm going to go Iowa State here. I think I know I don't know if they're favored or not. I know they're ranked higher, but man, the way they finished the season was really, really impressive. So, and they're rolling right now. So, I like Iowa State.
Fine analysis. I like that.
I too like UConn. I think UConn definitely comes into here and plays. Although San Diego State, you can't count them out. They're well coached. So I think that's going to be a little bit closer than people think. And then I like Illinois. I think teams that come in hot tend to keep it going. They won the Big Ten championship game. They cruised through the first two rounds, and frankly, we need a Big Ten representative. So it's going to be the Fighting, as my wife calls them, Illini. So give me the Fighting Illini to take out Iowa State. Great matchup, though. I think that's going to be close.
Wait, can we get those pronunciation again? So she says Illinois and then Illini. So Illinois,
Illini? Quick backstory. We're driving through the cornfields of Illinois, heading to Iowa to see Seven Dust play. And we go through Champaign, and there's a big sign, home of the Fighting Illini. So she reads the sign. She's like, what's the Fighting Illini?
So my wife's from the Midwest, and so she pronounced it. I've said this on here. Crayola crayons.
It's crayons. It's
crayons.
It's crayons.
It's crayons.
It's crayons.
Oh my God. No. It's Crayola crayons.
Crayons.
So how do you say Crayola?
Crayola.
So okay. So where does that Y? How does that drop off?
It's silent.
How does it change?
Silent.
How does it change from being silent?
It's like pterodactyl.
Yes. Yeah. Potato, tomato. I mean,
Hyagi.
It's definitely. And here's another one. Robbie.
No. It's not crayons.
It's crayons. And here's another one.
It's crayon.
Pop. It's pop, not soda. It's pop.
No, that's a whole different. Like
that's regional.
In California, they would call I want to barbecue and cook out burgers. That's just grilling burgers, or like the freeway and interstate. There's actual like Crayola makes crayons.
No, they make crayons. Next, what's your picks? You've been outvoted 2-1.
Oh my
Next.
God! Okay. Okay. I'll take anyone in the South. So, no, I'm going to take UConn. Obviously, this Illinois Iowa State game is very tough. Illinois got the better player, so I'm going to take Illinois. I'm gonna do the next round. Too. Okay, so Elite Eight, Brandon. You got UConn. Who you got?
What?
We're still
UConn versus Illinois.
Oh, UConn versus Illinois.
UConn.
Same here.
All right, that was easy. All right, we're going to the South. Houston, who has had 2 tough games against Duke, who has looked really impressive so far, 2 blowouts. The darlings of the tournament, NC State versus Shaka Smart and Marquette. This is being played in Dallas, I believe. So Houston, huge home court advantage, I think. I'll start with the Sweet 16. I'm going Duke and Marquette. Tom, what do you like?
Yeah, same here. I've got actually no, I don't. I take that back. I have Houston coming in. Houston's playing for a bit of a purpose. One of their players passed away in the offseason. So I think they've got a little more to play for than Duke. I have not been impressed with Duke, like I talked last week, since the Filipowski Gate situation. So give me Houston, and also who else is on that one? I like Marquette here.
All right.
You stop that big man in the middle if you can. If NC State,
Hey, he was at Tennessee early in his career.
Oof, that's a large human being.
Mm-hmm. I've got Houston. I'm not taking floppy Phil, whatever, on his after hour antics he does in the pushing people, making a big stink of it. That still makes you mad. Caitlin Clark started it. You can't run through there and throw your hands out. We already went down this road. I'm not going to get back down it. Anyway, so I got Houston and I got Marquette. I'm pretty chalky.
All right. So I think – I'm the one that's got Duke, Marquette. Mm-hmm. I'll go first then. Damn it. I think Duke goes to the Final Four. I don't like it, but I think they do. Tom?
I've got Houston.
Brandon?
Yep. Houston.
All right. Let's go down to the West. All right. North Carolina, Alabama, Clemson, and Arizona. This is tough for me. I watch Alabama play a lot. Alabama plays how they play. They don't care who they play. They play the same way every time. Carolina's got some NBA players. This is going to be a tough one. Tom, I'm going to let you start on this region.
James, Mr. Thomas, thank you for checking in. You're absolutely right. I think we all were in agreement. We had James Madison. We believed the hype, and we got burned on it.
This is exactly why we didn't want to do an entire tournament show, because then we'd be just talking about nothing. Our brackets suck all week.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We thought ahead.
So on this one, I've got North Carolina going after taking out Alabama. I know that's not a big shocker there. And then Clemson and Arizona. I like Arizona. I think obviously the Final Four is being played in Phoenix, so I think they have a lot to play for, and it could be their year.
Brandon?
Yep. I think Carolina's favorite breakfast food is oats, maybe. And I think they're going to take down Bama.
You've been playing that all week long.
That's all I got. I don't know much about college basketball, but so again, pretty chalk here. I've got Zona in my Final Four, so I think it's North Carolina, Arizona.
So I think this tournament's got to get wacky at some point, because it just always does. I hate that I get some of our silly viewers criticize me for being a secret Bama fan, but I'm not. But I do think Alabama wins.
Wow.
I do think Alabama wins this game against Carolina, and I think Arizona wins. So I think we got Arizona and Alabama. And I'll go ahead and say my point. I think Arizona advances to the Final Four.
Can we get a roll tide out of you at least?
No,
okay.
Never.
All right. Never. I agree. I like I said, and I agree with Derek Jasper. Thanks for checking in, Derek. The Wildcats, Arizona, going to the Final Four at home.
Yeah, Brandon, what do you got?
Yeah, I thought I said that, but yes.
All right. You may have said the Final Four pick already and jumped the gun on our.
I did. Well, I had like the back-to-back picks, like back-to-back question. Here's my two answers, and then I'm going Final Four.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Now the Midwest. The
come into the D.
The region we've all been waiting for. Obviously, Purdue and that giant. Gonzaga, Creighton, and the All-American Blue Bloods, the team that's so lovable, likable, wears a great shade of color, good coach, good atmosphere. The Tennessee Volunteers.
It's getting thick. It's getting real thick.
So, Brandon, where are you going on the Sweet 16 games?
Well, you would be happy to know that I did take the Volunteers to make it to the Elite Eight, at least. And then Purdue's good. They end up choking eventually around this round or the next round. I don't think it's this one, so I'm going to take Purdue.
All right, Tom.
I, too, am taking your beloved Tennessee Volunteers. Raj is unfortunately not with us today. He's out on the West Coast, and he wanted to do the show tomorrow, which defeats the whole purpose. But that's Raj for you. He's out visiting his mom, and he's going to see the aforementioned Shohei Ohtani this weekend. And Derek, I agree. It's definitely the best region. I think it's probably the closest competitively. So, but I will take Tennessee to win the Elite Eight. And Brandon, I agree with you as far as Purdue goes. They kind of shit the bed when it matters the most. And I think Gonzaga comes out on top here. You're talking prices being jacked up because you have 3 out of the 4 teams playing this weekend with fan bases travel, and they're going to travel hardcore. And the Mountain West representative is going to be real happy in the Elite Eight. So,
yeah, going to Tennessee, obviously stressful. I'm gonna. There may be 2 handles of whiskey bought in my house this game for Friday, all leading up to it. You gotta have carryovers, and then I've doubted Purdue all year long, and I'm tired of being wrong. I'm going to take Purdue, and then F it. We'll beat them. We'll play them in the Elite Eight.
Well, your Derek Jasper here likes your Old Smoky there in overtime to get to the Final Four. So, Brandon, who do you like in that matchup?
Oh, just for the Final Four?
Yep, for Purdue, Tennessee.
This is where the road ends for the Trail of Tears and the Volunteers. Purdue doesn't choke here yet. I think they shut down your boy Dalton, and I think Edie eats quite often.
Wow. I mean, you didn't even give him lube or anything. You didn't even give him work. You just went.
Just ripped the Band-Aid.
You just went
off,
right in. No protection. No protection.
So let me tell you why Brandon's wrong. So Purdue and Tennessee have already played this year in Honolulu. Dalton Connect, that was his 3rd game he played, and Purdue only won by 4. Connect's got more of the offense. Yeah,
Purdue looked like shit the beginning of the season.
Yeah, well, I don't care. And I already hate Purdue. Like,
Ohio State beat Purdue. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
They look like shit. They were terrible.
They could lose to 5 garbage trucks sitting there on the court. Can't dribble around them. But no, Tennessee's going to win. Tennessee's going to the Final Four. That's not my bet your nuts yet, but it could be. Tom, who do you got?
So you're coming Sunday, is what you're saying. You got your flights ready to go and your hotel
if we
comp?
Friday, yes, I'm coming Sunday. Yes.
Well, You're going to come.
Brandon, can I borrow your private jet?
I think P. Diddy's on it right now.
Bruce Bochy had to get he had to borrow it.
P. Diddy should know better. Don't get arrested for all these crimes during the Final Four.
And for those that don't know, Bruce Bochy is Mr. Brandon Chain's neighbor. So if he had a plane, I wouldn't be shocked. But anyways, back to the show. You're gonna come to beautiful Detroit. You're gonna enjoy the scenery. You're gonna love what the city's become since the last time you've been here. All the shops, all the bars, all the restaurants, just the atmosphere. You're going to take in some scenes of the draft. They're getting prepared for the draft. So you're going to take in all the sights, the sounds. As Derek said, the zoo atmosphere. The D is where it's at. And you're going to go back to Chattanooga heartbroken because the Gonzaga is going to go to the Final Four. Boom!
Well,
oh, that's funny.
Well,
at least he, a little foreplay there.
Hey, well, I did a little tickle, a little toggle,
It's I would like to say it's not often that I surround myself with dumber people than me, but again, I do it again tonight. And, it never gets boring. But, that's part of the trait. I can't wait to hey, is there a direct flight from Detroit to Phoenix?
Oh, I'm sure.
Half the people that live in Phoenix are from Detroit. Of course there is. Derek wants to know if there's going to be a podcast. Are we doing reckless speculation from the speakeasy? I think we need to make that happen.
Oh, 100%. 100%. All right. Close to an hour. It is now Bet Your Nuts time. Roll it, Tom.
It's time for Bet Your Nuts.
All right, boys and girls, you know how it is. We give you the pick to make the most money you can, whether it's a house, a car, a go-kart, a cigarette in the backyard, whatever you feel comfortable gambling, gamble it. I'd recommend the house, but, it's each their own.
Well, when you have 5 of them, what's one loss? What does it matter? Or the duplex you just bought. Who cares? Throw it in the mix.
That's what you call 20%, Tom. 20%. Hey, I got to go put the reference sign on the duplex tomorrow. All right, Brandon, we'll start with you.
I'm going to pick a game here coming out of the South. I was looking at some of these lines. Although I think Marquette's going to win this game, I do like NC State's spot at plus 6.5. I feel like it's almost like the 7.5 on the NFL. Like it feels like it's an extra possession there. So I like the spot. I think it's going to be a closer game than people think. So give me NC State plus 6.5.
Tom?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my earbud must have been going out. All right. I am going to go to the Illinois-Iowa State game. I like Illinois money line here, plus 105. And the aforementioned Gonzaga and Purdue game, obviously I'm taking Gonzaga, so give me Gonzaga's money line here, plus 195. And I'm throwing in a mix. I'm throwing in a parlay. Major League Baseball parlay, as a matter of fact. Tomorrow is opening day, if you haven't heard. Folks,
wait, what?
Opening day is tomorrow.
Like for the whole season?
For the whole season.
So the Braves are playing tomorrow?
The Braves will play. Everyone plays tomorrow. And
Brandon knew that, obviously.
Your 2024 AL Central champions. Book it. I did bet on it. So it was last week's Bet Your Nuts, or 2 weeks ago's Bet Your Nuts. I'm going to take the Tigers, White Sox here. So the parlay is the Tigers money line. Kerry Carpenter, the free swinging left-handed DH. Actually, he plays right field. Home run. And Tarek Skubal, who's number 7 per the betting lines to win the Cy Young, he's going to get 6 or more strikeouts. Plus 875 for the parlay. It's a pretty good one. So Tigers money line, Kerry Carpenter hits a home run, and Tarek Skubal with 6 or more strikeouts. Plus 875.
See, Tom, you started off the baseball season lying to me. According to ESPN, the Braves and Phillies are already postponed because of rain.
Oh, well.
We're not playing tomorrow. Why the hell is baseball season starting this weekend?
I think we have this talk every year.
It's usually the last week of March. That's when it's been starting.
This marks the 160.
James, they were supposed to play at 3, but whatever.
Yeah, this marks the 180-day mark of Brandon and I knowing nothing about sports. So get prepared. My bet your nuts of the week is I can't go anywhere else. As you can see in my name, in Dalton I trust. The Vols are gonna get it done. Go to our second Elite 8 in school history. Dalton Connect is 2.5 points. Connect's gonna get it. We have too much talent, and we've had too much talent for too long for this not to ever happen. Like, good God, at some point it has to happen. And so that's my bet your nuts. And so we'll get to the final thoughts. Final words. I always mess it up. Tom, what are you thinking?
Well, I got a bone to pick with the NCAA. Tomorrow night and Friday night. And Friday night is one of the reasons why you're not coming this early this weekend. They're tipping off games after 10 p.m. in East Coast cities. Specifically, Detroit with Tennessee and Creighton tipping at, I think, it's tipping at 10:09.
10:15. Yeah.
You know that's not going to be what time they start. Because the first game tips at 7:39. There's no way that game's going to be done. I can see that first game going into overtime, Purdue and Gonzaga. So the LA, the West Coast times are kicking off the days. So I'm not really sure what the NCAA was thinking by starting games. I mean, especially on Thursday night, starting a game past 10 o'clock in an East Coast city. I can see Friday. I get it. More people aren't working Saturday or whatnot. I am, but most people aren't. So I'm not really sure what the thought process of the NCAA was, because if you were to come Friday night, let's say the game tips at 10:30, you're not leaving. You're not getting out of there until 1 o'clock in the morning. I mean, the curfew in the city of Detroit is 11 o'clock. If there's any kind of event concert wise, it's 11 o'clock. So, and the latest baseball or even football or hockey that they start is 8 o'clock. So for them to start a game after 10 p.m., I hate to sound like the get off my lawn man, but that's just ridiculous. And I know it probably has something to do with ratings and wanting to keep, people tuned in, which of course they will. They want to own coverage from the first tip to the last tip, and yes, they're going to compete against baseball. I don't know. They're probably not going to compete hard, but nonetheless, they're going to get that baseball viewership, I think. So, but all in all, to be in Detroit and to start a game at 10:30, even if it is 10:15, it's just it makes no sense to me when you could have started the first game at like 6, because people are going to be there. It doesn't matter. And then the second game could have tipped at maybe 9, but that's why they don't pay me to make decisions. They're smarter than I am. But I just think all in all, it's ridiculous to have it that late in an East Coast city like Detroit.
Yeah, and I'll give my final thoughts to piggyback on that. It's not silly. It's idiotic. And like what they're doing is you're taking a Thursday night, pretty good rating TV. Friday night's horrible. And you're starting it at 7:30 Eastern. Well, the majority of the people in America live in the East Coast time zone. And you've alienated them all out. Like this is just like and you're putting on Turner and TBS. This is like, I guess this is just basically like, hey, NCAA, let me put you with a couple of options. A's great, B's bad, C's terrible. You're gonna take C every effing time, and that's what they do with every decision they ever make. And this is why they are going to be extinct in the next 2 or 3 years. There is no need for this idiocracy.
Oh. And not enough people are talking about it. Nobody's talking about this.
Yeah, so Tennessee, and so I'm zoned in. Granted, I'm zoned in on Tennessee. Tennessee's going to start at 10:15 on Friday night. They're going to finish at probably 12:30 Saturday morning. Then they have to play again early Sunday. When Purdue is going to have 6 hours more, Purdue Gonzaga, you're going to have 6 hours more rest than them. That's just not fair. Like,
I don't disagree.
All right, Brandon, tired of bitch about time zones. You got something else? Or you
Get off my lawn.
No, I mean, I'm sure it had to do with opening day and that whole schedule. And like you said, viewership. I'm sure there's quite a few analytics that go into that and projecting viewership. So a lot of people take off opening day from work and even the next day, Friday. So I could see some reasoning behind that, but I could not care one way or another on what time they start. I'll probably still be watching. I am looking forward to some good games this weekend. So, starting Thursday, tomorrow. So, yeah, that's my final words.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, rate the podcast, do everything you can. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, YouTube, and then 2 other things I don't know. But
Spotify and Apple Music.
Spotify and Apple Music. I never
Come
get
on,
them.
Robbie.
Why is it just the Apple sign?
Because that's the logo for Apple Podcasts.
All right, and how am I supposed to know it's Spotify? But anyways, I'm not a damn logo expert.
Get off my lawn.
But anyways, thanks for watching. You heard through all of us which ones to look at. We will be back next week for our Final Four preview. Hopefully, I will be in the Speakeasy on Sunday or Monday. Fingers crossed. Brandon, come up too, because I can't get there without your jet. So we got to figure that out. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. We'll be back next week.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Reckless Speculation. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube, searching Reckless Speculation. Catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. We look forward to catching you right here next week with another exciting episode of Reckless